I am a member of the board and serve as the director of student sponsorship. My vision is to have each of the students that attend the academy sponsored by individuals, churches, or organizations for their entire education of K through 12th grade. And now I would like to welcome each of the panelists and give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell how they became involved with the Annie T. Doe Memorial Foundation. Catherine Montgomery, Cheryl Parker, and Jean and Sue Clary. Catherine?
Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine Montgomery, and I've served on the board of the Annie T. Doe Foundation for about 4 years now, although I have been a supporter of the foundation for a very long time, and I had the pleasure of attending the first fundraising gala when the foundation was just starting to get the money to build the school. So I've been a supporter and a cheerleader for a long time, and now I do a lot of the marketing and communications on behalf of the board.
Jean and Sue?
Hi, I'm Sue Clary, and this is my husband, Gene.
Hello.
We are members of First Reformed Church in Landis, North Carolina, which sponsors the Annie T. Doe School. And through the mission committee, we first were introduced to the school and had attended a gala. And being at that gala and seeing pictures of those children and seeing the dreams that they have just really inspired us. And that's why we were so caught with this.
Definitely drawn towards the stories of the children, excuse me. And like Sue said, you know, their hopes and dreams for the future, not only for themselves, but their community and their country.
And then Cheryl Parker.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Parker. I am a member of St. John's Evangelical Protestant Church in Coleman, Alabama, and that is how I became familiar with Annie T. Doe Memorial Foundation and the Academy. I'm on the global outreach team, and we received a letter, our church received a letter from Carmen requesting help. And through different channels, the letter ended up in my lap. And so I contacted Carmen to find out what it was about, and that's how we got involved.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask a question, and each of you can chime in. Why do you sponsor a student, Jean and Sue?
Well, as
And tell us a little.
when we attended the game about 5 years ago, these children, the pictures of them and their dreams, that really inspired us. The child that we sponsor is Genevieve. She actually lost her parents to the Ebola virus, and she is her uncle and her aunt took her in. She was one of 3 children.
They have several children of their own, and Genevieve and others were brought into the home as well, as my understanding.
But she is somebody that she's she just really stole our heart for the most part. But I would really like to see her just flourish and realize her dreams.
Okay.
When we
And how
knew-
go ahead, Jean.
I was going to say early on when we decided that we did want to sponsor a child, you know, we were in conversation with Saya, And she basically said, I have the perfect child for you guys. And, she just talked about Genevieve, how she was a good student. She was very personable with her peers. And I think the term rising star was the term that may have been used, and says, sure, we'll take her.
Oh, that's good. That you're touching her life and making a relationship with her. And I think
Yes.
Saya is showing here some pictures if you want to explain them a little bit.
Since we were able to visit Liberia about 3 years ago. And so we got to meet her face to face. And as you can see right there with us together, she was just a little girl. And then in the other picture, she had sent that to me about a year ago. We've been able to correspond some off and on since that time. And as you can see, she has really grown. She's just a beautiful girl. I think she wants to be a nurse, and she has a heart. One of the things that I remember when we were there, we took the children out to eat to a restaurant, and Genevieve, she didn't eat very much. She saved some so she could take it home to share with her other brothers and sisters.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. That trip was the first, I think, official mission trip back to the school that had Frances and Saya, of course, leading the trip, with Carmen and her husband Lynn participating, and it was a wonderful experience, an eye-opening experience. What you see in the picture with us, with Genevieve, was after foot washing that had taken place, where those of us with the staff, Frances, Saya, and the school staff, there were a few others involved as well, but we washed the feet of the children, all of the students, that particular day. And then there were some shoes that had been sent over from another mission. So these were presented to the children as well that day. But heartwarming experience.
Thank you. So I'll continue on. Catherine, I think you just recently started sponsoring a student at the Academy. Would you like to tell us how you came about sponsoring a child?
Absolutely. I decided to sponsor this little girl. Her name is Divine. She was in a spelling bee at school, and at 4 years old, I think she spelled like 9 words perfectly and quoted 2 Bible verses verbatim in a very short span of time. I was so impressed. This is probably the smartest little 4-year-old I've ever met. And I actually have nieces and nephews, and I think they're brilliant. So that's saying a lot. But it really bothered me to think that maybe she would be able to go to kindergarten and maybe 1st grade, because the 1st grade classes are sponsored by an individual. But I wanted to make sure that Divine could continue her education well beyond 1st and 2nd grade. So my family and I have made a commitment to sponsor Divine on an annual basis, as long as she is a student at the Annie T. Doe Academy. It's very important that we catch Divine when she's young, because early childhood education is so important. We know that kids that do have access to early childhood education have higher self-esteem. They're able to develop better listening skills. They are better able to socialize, to negotiate. There are a lot of skills that they learn just through access to early childhood education. But mostly what preschool provides is making kids a lifelong learner. They are curious and they are eager to learn. And if you catch them early, I think that that is one of the indicators that they will be successful as they continue, through their primary and secondary education. I also learned that only 33% of students in Liberia have access to pre-K or kindergarten, and only 54% of those who do attend kindergarten actually graduate. About 50% graduate from primary school. We're not even talking about graduating from high school. And as I learned about the, the impacts of the Liberian Civil War on the education system and how it has really decimated the educational infrastructure, we felt that it was just really important to make sure this little brilliant girl continues to have opportunities for a quality education.
Thank you, Catherine. And that's true. A lot of kids over there don't have the opportunities, and we see a lot of the students that start are older. We have 12-year-olds that start in kindergarten and then slowly get advanced up through the different classes. So this brings me around to Cheryl. Cheryl, I think you actually work in the school system. And I know that's probably one reason this was kind of close to your heart. So if you can just explain that and a little bit more about how the church is helping the students.
Okay. I am on the school board for a Christian school here in our city. Prior to retirement, I worked in the public school system for 31 years. And after I retired, I went to a private Christian school here in our city. And that's when I really became passionate about Christian education, because I saw the difference in what public school was teaching and what the Christian school was teaching. And so when I got the letter from Carmen requesting some sponsorship help, of course, it went straight to my heart, because I've spent my life in education. And if you ask me for anything involving children, I'm going to do whatever I can do to get it for you. So anyway, we sponsor 17 children, and we just sponsored. We looked at how much money we had, and we sponsored as many as we could take. And I'm happy to say that I have gathered the funding for all of those kids again for next year. And I'm hoping that we can get sponsorship for them from our church, and that we can see those 17 through graduation. So I just think I have not been there, would love to go the next trip that comes along. This year I just was not able to go, but every time I see the pictures, it just tugs at my heart, and I just know how important it is for these kids to get an education, but not just an education, a Christian education is so important in the world that we're living in today.
That's true. And I've actually been on the first mission trip back when Jean and Sue went, and that's when Buchanan, Liberia, and the students just grabbed my heart and knew I needed to be able to do more with the foundation, and was able to join the board after that. And then we went back in March to see the kids again, and 2 weeks just flew entirely too quickly by. And to be able to do what we needed to do to work with them. I think you're seeing on the screen now, my husband and I, and that's Josephine. We have sponsored her and Thomas for the last 5 years. When we first saw her and Thomas, they were sitting on concrete blocks in a classroom and not in uniforms. And we found out they weren't picked that year. So we talked to Saya, we got them enrolled in school, and we've been taking care of their education since then. So education, the first year we met her on the first mission trip, she was shy, she would not speak. This year she was glued to us, she was happy, she was talkative. So the school is doing wonders for these students. I'd like to ask the panelists, what is your hope for these students, or what do you believe is important to, why do you believe it's important to support the Annie T. Doe Academy and the students there?
Who wants to go first? I will. I think, like I said before, Christian education is, to me, just the utmost of importance for every child, but especially these children. And I hope that as they grow up, they become quite educated Christ followers. You know, we've given them the opportunity to have an education, and hopefully we have taught them a Christ, you know, a Christian worldview that they can carry on with their families.
Yes, thank you.
I think you feed them, you know, you feed them a meal at school, you're feeding them physically, you're giving them education, but you're also feeding them spiritually. I see the school as a light in that village. I ran across this scripture this morning that really spoke to me. It's a storm-battered city, troubled and desolate. I will rebuild you with precious stones and make you a foundation with sapphires. That's Isaiah 54:11. With our resources that God gives us to help these precious stones, they will rebuild that community and eventually maybe rebuild that country.
That's true. If we put the education in the students and help grow them up, then they'll be able to give back to their community and help others and make more jobs. Catherine, would you like to chime in?
Absolutely. I'm very much an advocate for children. And like Cheryl said, if it has to do with children, pretty much they can get anything from me. But I think it's so important not only that these children receive a Christian education, I think that's key. Sue and Jean, you mentioned that we feed the children every day. One of the stories that warmed my heart was initially when the school opened, some of the students would have their lunch, but they would take lunch out and share through the fence or over the fence with their brothers and sisters. And I just recall hearing so many times that the meal that they receive at school is often the only meal that they will receive that day. So I just think it's important, like everyone has said, that we not only nourish them spiritually and emotionally, but also physically. Hungry children, it's harder for them to learn. And so it's important that we support them in all of those dimensions so that they can give back.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to share just a few things here about what sponsoring a student gives to them. It's a minimum cost. The school year is $300 for one child. That covers their tuition, their fees, a brand new uniform each year. They get a backpack, all their school supplies. And like has been said, they get lunch, which may be their only meal they have that day, unless their parents are able to earn enough money to put food on the table for supper and breakfast the next day. And then it takes care of their activities at school. So $300 is not much. I mean, if you think about it, some of us go out to eat a couple times a week. Some of us go to Starbucks and have a coffee a day. So it's not hard to come up with that $300 to sponsor a child and maybe sponsor a couple children. And it's not hard to sponsor one. You can go to our website, which is www.atdomf.org, and go and look at actually some of the student stories that are on the website under the Academy, to meet them, to read each and every one of their stories and get to know them a little bit better. And just click the donate button. You can give $300 or you can give what you feel you're led to give. Catherine, would you tell what each sponsor receives once they sponsor a student?
Well, I think they get a lot of intangibles from Jean and Sue, as well as Cheryl, the intangibles of knowing that you're making a difference in someone's life and actually having the opportunity to establish a relationship with that student. So when you sign up to sponsor a student, as Carmen mentioned, it's only $300 per academic year per student. That's about $25 a month. And what you will receive is an introductory letter introducing you to the student that you either selected online, or if you don't go in to select a student and make a donation, we will select a student for you. But you will receive an introductory letter. You'll also receive some background information about the child. Some of the stories of why they need a sponsor are heartbreaking. Many of them have lost parents to the Civil War. Many of them lost parents to Ebola. Many of them lost parents during the AIDS crisis. And the infrastructure that's trying to support them is very, very weak. So that's why I think sponsoring a student, in addition to all of the things that the student receives, it's just the tremendous amount of value that you receive as a sponsor. Also, you'll get annual progress reports. So when they get their report cards, you'll get updates on their progress as well. And also guidelines on how you can help them beyond paying for their school and fees. We really want our sponsors to know that the primary role they play is sponsoring that child's education and creating a bond with that child if possible, but there may be other things you are led to do, and we want to give you guidelines for that. So I think there are tangible benefits and there are some intangible benefits that are even harder to quantify.
I agree.
Okay. Now, do any of you have questions that you would like to ask about sponsoring students? Or do we have anybody out there that's joined this Zoom meeting that would like to ask a question? All right. Well, I thank everybody for joining. And if you would like for us to send you information on how to sponsor a student or to learn about some of our other activities that we have at the school, as far as women empowerment or the healthcare, you can put your email in either the chat on the Zoom or the chat on the Facebook, and we'll pick that up. And then the next several days, we'll send you out information. You can also, again, go to our website, which is www.atdomf.org, or visit our Facebook page, the Annie T. Doe Memorial Foundation. But we hope that our stories that we've shared about these students and what we have online about we have 360 kids out there that need to be sponsored, and we have several of their stories uploaded, and we're changing them out every once in a while. So take a look, see their pictures, see how you can touch a life to make a better opportunity for them. But thank you for joining. And would you anybody like to say anything further before we close?
I'd like to add just one item. In talking about building the relationship, I know when Lynn, Carmen, when you and Lynn were there on this last trip, one of the things that you did for us was allowing Genevieve to get on your phone, since you had the international plan, and actually give us a call, and we got to speak with her for a little bit. And that was a precious moment.
Yes, it was.
And I was glad we were able to do that, because just seeing how her face lit up when she was able to speak to you on the phone tore at my heart, knowing how much she had missed seeing and hearing from you. But we also give you their birthdays, so you're able to send birthday cards through the foundation. We'll get them to the school to get to them. You can write them letters. You can send them pictures through us. And we'll do all the corresponding of getting it to the right person to get it to the student. And then they in turn will send notes back through us to you. So I hope that we have touched your hearts, that you want to reach out and pick one of these children and give them an education where they can help their families to make a better life, to get a better education, to get a better job. Because some of their families only earn a couple dollars a day, but there are jobs out there that they're not able to get because they don't have an education. They can't read, they don't know their numbers. And once they get this, then they can advance and take college classes, and the sky's the limit. Their dreams can go to anywhere. Lawyers, teachers, doctors, which is much needed over there. So again, thank you for joining us tonight on this Facebook Zoom. And we hope that you'll share this with your friends, your family, and your churches and organizations, and get back with us and let us know if you would like to join on with us in helping in some way. Thank you. And thank you, Cheryl, Jean, and Sue, and Kathy for taking this time. Yes, did I hear somebody say something?
It's Saya. I just wanted to add my voice to say thank you so much to this great team. You all did a fabulous job. I know, Cheryl, when the news hit the school, I remember last year in the midst of the pandemic, when the news hit the school that the church was sponsoring 17 students.
Yeah.
The word hit the school in Liberia, and it was one of the best things they heard, to be in the position to hear that somebody cares for them this much, 17 of them. I could hear the rejoicing in their voices at school, just having again. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who have really been behind this this work. Claire and Jen, you know, Genevieve has become your baby. She looks forward to talking to you every month. Is that level of bond that you've already formed with her. Carmen also talked about the relationship she had with Josephine and Thomas. These were kids who were hopeless. Now their lives have become so vibrant. To all of you, I want to say thank you. We will be sharing a lot of information about the foundation through this conversation. When you also save the date, September 18 will be our virtual gala again this year. We're doing virtually, but all of you have been the support behind the foundation, and we know you will continue to support us. September 18, save the date. In the next couple of days, we'll have email coming out and communications and flyers about the gala. We're really excited about what God is doing through this work. This year gala will be about higher heights because God has done so much, from opening a new school. March, we were at Liberia dedicating our junior high school building. Well, now moving from 350 to 500 students. It's just amazing all the great things God continues to do through this work, and it's because of all of you behind the scene. So I want to say thank you again. Heart is so overwhelmed every time I see the level of support behind Antietam Memorial Foundation. May God bless you, and God bless your work and everything that you find your hands to do.
Thank you, Saya.
Thank you, Saya.
And thank
Thank
you,
you.
Carmen.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yes, it's nice to meet everybody. And thank you for the ones that have joined again. And we look forward to seeing you on our next conversation, which will be coming up soon, and then at the gala in September. Everybody have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.